Namaste viewers and welcome to Bend It Like LD. Today's video is a compilation of the 9 best asanas that you can practice in 2019 towards a healthier and fitter you. These yoga poses, if practiced every day or at least 5 days of the week, can help greatly in building strength, flexibility, balance, and also help to alleviate the aches and pains that we accumulate throughout the day and with the daily rigors of life. So let's get started. Moving on to our first pose, if I were to probably name one asana that I think is fantastic for the entire body, starting from your shoulders all the way to your toes, it would be the chair pose, Utkatasana. Utkatasana is excellent for building strength in your entire body. So standing with your feet slightly apart. So pushing your hip back as if there's a chair behind you, visualizing a chair behind you, squat back into Utkatasana. Now make sure you tuck your tailbone and keep lifting the spine up. So this is the first version where you can stretch your arms in front of you and probably hold the posture for about 5 breaths while focusing on your breath, inhaling and exhaling, and slowly coming out of the posture. Practice about say 2 or 3 sets of this every day. And if you want to go a little more deeper into the practice, taking it a notch higher, so get back into chair pose, bringing your palms to your heart center, slowly lift your arms up and gaze at your thumbs. Try not to hook your thumbs. That's a common temptation that we want to do. Keep the spine lifted, gazing at your thumbs for about say 5 breaths and release. So choose any option that works for you and do about say 2 sets of these. And always remember to give a counter stretch. And then we'll move on to a balancing pose. I like this particular one as compared to the other asanas for balancing because I think it really focuses on a lot of things. One is your thighs, because you really need to engage your thighs, your knees and your toes. So slowly lifting the right leg all the way up, stretching it behind, but make sure your standing leg is active. Virabhadrasana 3 or Warrior 3 is fantastic for strengthening your standing leg, improving the mobility of your hips, and also for lengthening your spine, and excellent of course for creating balance in the body. So slowly release, holding each side for about 5 breaths, Warrior 3. Moving on to the left side, slowly push into your right foot. So make sure your standing leg is really straight and strong. Pulling up your standing leg kneecap. Slowly lift up. Try not to turn your hips out too much. That's again a common tendency for the body. So push the left hip down. Point your toes behind. So palms can either be at the heart center or outstretched in front of you by the sides of your ears. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, feeling strong and energetic through the posture. And slowly release. Moving on to the third asana, which I'm sure many of us practice, many of you must have heard, is Warrior 2. Of course, it's the pose of a warrior. So I really tell my students always to visualize yourself as a very strong person. So separating your feet about 4 to 4.5 feet apart, depending on your hip flexibility. Slowly turn the right foot out. Now you want to make sure that the right heel and the left arch are kind of in one line. So turn your elbows out, shoulders roll back. Tucking your tailbone, slowly bend the right knee completely over your right ankle. Now make sure that you're not really bending the knee too much so that it goes beyond the ankle. So you want that knee to be ideally in line with your second toe. At the same time, make sure you're pushing into your back foot firmly. And from here transitioning to our fourth posture, which is a reverse warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. So turning your right palm out, slowly stretch your right arm up and slide your left arm down your left thigh. This is great for stretching out your obliques, the sides of your chest. Pushing into both your feet firmly, staying here for about 5 breaths, but focusing on your breath, inhaling and exhaling throughout the practice. And slowly release. So Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana and Reverse Warrior. Both are excellent for your legs and for your sides. You can always keep your palms on your hips if you find that your shoulders are hurting way too much. Moving on to the left side, rolling the shoulder blades back, pulling your navel in. Bend the left knee completely over the left ankle. Make sure the left toes are pointed towards the left side. Push into your right foot firmly. Push into the outer edges of your right foot. Warrior 2 on the left side. And turning your left palm out, slowly lift your left arm up, sliding your right arm down your right thigh. You feel that stretch on your left oblique, lengthen through the spine and stretch back. At the same time, keep bending the left knee just a little bit more so that you're really not lifting the hip up, rather you're lifting your sides. And slowly release. Moving on to our 5th asana. So we'll go for a slight hip opener. Or we're going for a strengthening posture, I think. So I think a push-up done the right way, using some modification, goes a lot way in building strength in your upper body, especially for women, because I think we are genetically weak in our upper body. So keeping your knees on the mat, separating your knees hip distance apart. You can also cross your ankles if you wish. So push into your palms firmly, shift your body weight forward, lengthening your spine. Exhale, fold down halfway. So these are Chaturanga modified push-ups. I've personally found them to be extremely useful in building strength in my chest. So as you exhale, make sure that your shoulders are dipping no lower than your elbows. That's very important. Make sure your elbows and shoulders are in one line. And maybe hover there for a few breaths. See there, you see, I can already feel that in my shoulders and biceps. Chaturanga modified push-ups are excellent for strengthening your chest and shoulders. And moving on to our 6th posture, which is Baddha Konasana, the butterfly pose or the bound angle pose. So bring the soles of your feet together, and I always think keeping the heels slightly away from your groin works better in gently opening the hips. So open your feet out like a book, elbows pressing into your thighs. Start to lean forward with every inhalation, lengthening your spine. And with every exhalation, draw your belly in and reach, try to bring your belly towards your thighs. So the idea is really not to drop your head on the mat. The idea is to keep lengthening the spine, keeping your gaze ahead of your toes. It's good to close your eyes here and slowly move to a meditative state. Elbows can also be out, reaching towards the mat. And slowly come up and release. Just hug your knees to your chest for a few breaths. Moving to our 7th posture, Sarpasana. It's a great posture because you can get the benefits of 2 things in one. One is like our shoulders are usually kind of tight throughout the day because of the day's activities, because of sitting for long hours in front of our office desk, and we also need to work our back. So I think this is a great posture. So you lie down on your back, bring your palms together, roll the shoulder blades back, push into the backs of your toes, lift the chest and shoulders off the mat. So you're working your back as well as you're opening your shoulders. So you're kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. So lift the chest and shoulder, roll the shoulder blades back, keep breathing throughout the practice, and stay here for about 5 or 10 breaths, or do 2 sets of 5 breaths each, and slowly release. And of course, we must never forget the core, because the core is really central in ensuring that all the other vital organs of our body, all the other muscles are working in tandem. So working on your abdominal muscles, working on your core is very, very important. So I think the best pose for this is Ardha Navasana, or the half boat pose. So lie down on your back, keeping your feet together, lifting your upper body 6 inches off the mat. Slowly take both your feet 6 inches off the mat. So contracting your belly muscles, you can either release your palms or your fingertips can be on the mat. Gaze at your toes and continue to breathe normally, holding it for say 15, 20, 30 seconds or how much ever you can. It's a lot of work on the core. And slowly release. I would prefer this to the full boat or the Paripurna Navasana, because in this you can always ensure correct alignment. And our last asana for the day is the fantastic bridge pose, which is great for really relieving the back, the shoulders, the thighs, and making you feel really good at end of any practice session. So bring your feet hip distance apart and push into your feet firmly, lifting your hips all the way up. You can stay there for about 5 or 10 breaths and release. And there you go, ta-da, you're done. Just 10 minutes of the day and you're done with a complete